It's time for another healthy and high-protein meal prep. For breakfast, I'm prepping apple pie overnight oats, chicken salad sandwiches for lunch, and then for snack, healthier carrot cake muffins, and for dinner, healthy spaghetti and meatballs. And all these meals will get you 120 grams of protein per day. As always, let's start with the breakfast.
For breakfast, I'm making apple pie overnight oats since fall is finally here, so now we can make everything in fall flavors. I add all the ingredients into these glass jars, but you could also use containers. I add oats, chia seeds, which are a great source of healthy fats. Then I add a low-fat Greek yogurt that is high in protein. The yogurt I use contains 13 grams of protein per 100 grams. For sweetness, I'm adding applesauce that is 100% made of apples. I also add diced apples, which add some texture. Next, I add cinnamon and nutmeg for that fall flavor. Lastly, I add some milk. Then I just stir to combine. If you are on the elimination phase of the low FODMAP diet, which is the diet that can help with irritable bowel syndrome symptoms, replace the applesauce with mashed bananas and also the apples with a sliced banana. I top the overnight oats with crushed pecans and the rest of the diced apples. These overnight oats are so creamy and yummy, a perfect breakfast for busy fall mornings. For lunch, I'm prepping a creamy chicken salad that I use for sandwiches. First, I cook the chicken breasts by boiling them in salty water, and then I mix them with a hand mixer, the easiest way to make shredded chicken. Now I just mix all the ingredients together for the chicken salad. I add chopped chives, but you could also use green onions or red onions if you don't have IBS like me. Next, I add sun-dried tomatoes and full-fat Greek yogurt that gives this a very creamy texture. I add parmesan for cheesy flavor and some chopped fresh basil and lemon zest, as well as lemon juice, which add some freshness. And lastly, I add some salt and pepper, and then I just stir to combine. I store this in an airtight container in the fridge. I serve it with bread, lettuce, and tomatoes. If you are taking this to work or school, you could build the sandwiches in the mornings. Such an easy and tasty lunch. For snack, I'm prepping carrot cake muffins. I add all the ingredients into a blender, but you could also make the batter in a bowl and mix it with a hand mixer. First, I add eggs. Then I add a banana and maple syrup for sweetness. Next I add oat flour, ground flax seeds. If you don't have ground flax seeds, replacing them with more oat flour should work. Next I add vegan vanilla protein powder and lots of cinnamon and some baking powder. Then I add milk and cottage cheese, which adds extra protein to the muffins. Lastly, I add vanilla extract and a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I just blend everything together. Next, I fold in 2 grated carrots and some crushed walnuts. Then I spoon the batter into lined muffin pan cavities. I top the muffins with the rest of the crushed walnuts. I bake them at 180 Celsius degrees, 350 in Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes. Carrot cake muffins are one of my favorites, and these turned out so good. You couldn't believe these are a healthier alternative and high in protein. They are so soft, moist, and delicious. One serving is 2 muffins, which contain about 17 grams of protein. For dinner, I'm prepping healthy spaghetti and meatballs. I'm making the meatballs of minced turkey meat. You could also use chicken mince. I added 2 eggs, gluten-free breadcrumbs. No need to use gluten-free breadcrumbs if you aren't celiac, intolerant to gluten, or IBS sufferer. Then I add chopped chives, You could add garlic powder to this as well if you like. Next, I add chopped fresh rosemary, which adds lots of flavor. I also add fresh basil and dried oregano. I love using herbs to season my meals. Lastly, I add salt and pepper. Then I mix everything together. I roll the mixture into about 24 meatballs and place them onto a baking pan lined with parchment paper. I bake them at 220 Celsius degrees, 425 in Fahrenheit for about 12 minutes. Meanwhile, I mix all the ingredients together for the sauce, crushed tomatoes, more chopped fresh basil, and chives. If you don't have IBS, you can of course add some garlic and onion to this sauce. Next, I add oregano, paprika spice, salt, pepper, and lastly, chili flakes. Next, I cook the spaghetti. I'm using lentil spaghetti that is 100% made of lentils, but you could use any spaghetti you like. I like to use lentil and chickpea pastas because they are higher in fiber and protein. I pour the sauce into a pan. I add some of the pasta cooking water and let the sauce simmer for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. When the meatballs are ready, I add them to the sauce and stir. I also add the cooked spaghetti to the sauce. This is such a tasty and filling dinner, and it's packed with protein. If you are using the lentil spaghetti, it contains about 40 grams of protein per serving. And here are all the ready meals.
Many of you have been asking for a meal prep recipe ebook, and I'm now working on it. If you have any wishes on what kind of recipes you would want to see in the book, or about serving sizes, cooking methods, or anything, let me know in the comments, because I would want to make the book as useful as possible. It will still take at least a few months to make, but I'll keep you guys updated. The written recipes for today's meals are in the description box as always. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. I hope you tried the recipes. Enjoy!